Here is a script idea that I don't think will take too long, but then again, these usually end up being the ones that last the longest. It's going to be identify. So you're going to get some kind of item. You'll mark it as being magic or something, or as requiring identification. Um, Option. All items are all items require identification, or some items are marked for requiring identification. And yeah, then there'll be spells or items that can identify. Um, or stores. Maybe it's yeah, you know what? Already this is probably going to take a lot longer than I thought. Spells or items that can identify items. Stores can purchase identification. Oh yeah, so what identify is, instead of it having a name here, it will just display something like question mark. You won't know what it is. I think stat changes should probably still show. Maybe that can be an option though. Or not option. But the real problem is this stuff. You can put I thought you could add some kind of automatic state upon equip, but maybe not for weapons. But yeah, you can do parameter 50%. So it's like a cursed item basically. And then the user won't know what it is or what it does. And then they can still equip it, but then yeah, maybe they can't unequip it. Who knows? The main thing is they won't be able to see what it is or the description or anything. Um, have default parameters visible or not. Name and description. Price hide. Stat changes. So we'll just start by creating a plugin. I'm going to ask for a, oh, I've still got the default template here. I will take this. And I will take a little header from this one. Identify. Items can require identification for seeing their name, value, description, etc. I'll start by putting in a substitute name. It's going to be text that displays in place of item's name when requiring identification. Alright, then I'm just going to pop this in here. This is going to be the tag for when an item does require identification. Only make it this one, uh, this one. Yeah, you know what? Just do these. And when we talk to this good soul, they'll give us some items. And some armor as well, just to show that it's working for everything. And we'll say that and that. Um, we'll grab the thing to get. This is a bit of code that will just get the plugin name instead of having to type it in. And be aware that this is taking the document name. So if this name changes here, then it's going to screw up your plugin name. Um, it would probably still work just fine anyway. Um, so just keep it in mind. So sample parameter, let's say substitute name, and it's not a number, so we can get rid of this. Get rid of that. We'll do 2 if it makes it here, or just 1, say. Um, substitute name. Let's comment this out for now. Might use it, might not. So, real quick, let's just get into displaying items. Let's see, draw item. This is directly in window base, which means anywhere that uses draw item like this, it might hit everything, which would be nice. We'll just rip that out. So what I want to do is, I don't really want to overwrite everything if I can avoid it. So I'm hoping I can raise the contents of this if possible. So let's make an alias. We'll do that. Window base draw item name equals window base draw item name. So this is me capturing the contents of this function in a variable. So we can call the variable just here. So there are 4 parameters which need to be in here, but it must start with this. This gives it the context it needs to run properly, I think. So this now runs this piece of code here. And I will keep the if item part. We can let's see what happens. We'll try something out here. We'll say run the code and then we will overwrite it. Well, then we will do something on top of the previous code. I just want to see if it will look like we've written over the top of something, like we'll see double the writing, or will we see something else? So let's just type out some long name and we'll draw icon 1. And let's just see. Let's just see what that looks like. So remember to add the script or add the plugin to the game. Remove the theme. Just you don't have to obviously, but gets kind of annoying. Okay, so you can see it's clearly written over the top. Hmm. So let's see. Where does draw item name get called? Do we clear the contents at all? This contents. Alright, so maybe what we do is we look for the metadata, which maybe we can just do item.meta. Let's console log this before we try and use it. So the meta is everything in the note tag or the note box. So we'd come up with this is true if it is there. Oh, need to get the window open. Alright, so the first two items have nothing and the second two items do have it and it says true. So we will just use this and say if the meta require identify is true, then we'll run one lot of code. Otherwise, we will run the other lot of code. So if he doesn't need identified, let's just draw the name like normal. But if it does need identified, then we'll run this code. And instead of random text here, this will be substitute name. I wonder how we do a boolean here. Let's ask. Parameter to my plugin. Type boolean. Okay, straightforward enough. So this is going to be hide name. Should an item's name be hidden when requiring identification? And we're going to make quite a few of these, I imagine. Hide icon. Substitute icon. It's going to be a number. When it's hidden. When an item requires identification. Let's see, what's a good default for this? Just a blank one maybe? 16? Okay, we'll go 16. So substitute icon here. Hide name. Hide icon. Alright, so we can say if hide name, then do that. I guess else we'll need to just do the regular one. See the problem with this? If someone does do something fancy with the name, if someone's displaying an item's name in a really fancy way, they've customized it, then this will be fine if they're not requiring identification. But when it does, it's just going to default to the old look. So there's going to be some compatibility issues there if people choose there to be. Yeah, so if we need to hide the name, draw the substitute name, otherwise do that. If we need to hide the icon, then draw that icon. Otherwise, we will just spit out the items icon. I can't remember, it's just icon or icon index. I think it was in here. Icon index, yep. Otherwise, we will use substitute icon. Alright, so keep in mind, it's showing 0 icon, probably because I haven't refreshed the plugin. There we go. Description needs blanked out as well. Is that a help window? Window help, that's what I'm looking for. Set item. Right, we can try hijack this and see if it'll do what we want it to do. So we'll alias it again. Set item equals window help prototype dot set item. So same check, item dot meta dot require identify. If it requires identification, then we will do one thing. Otherwise, we will just do the regular thing, which will be this. This and then the parameter. So what are we trying to do here? If the item exists, then we will spit out, let's see, hide description. Substitute description. I guess we could do something like requires identification, just to give the player some idea of what's going on. Maybe it's the first time they've seen an item like this. Must be identified, maybe something like that. Alright, so we need to grab this, substitute description. And again, maybe we can just put nothing to begin with. Hide description. So we can also put in here, if it requires identification and hide description. But do it the other way around, I suppose. So the most important part is, do we hide descriptions? Because if this fails immediately, then just do the usual. And then we also check, does the item actually require identification? And then it will run something. So how does this look now? I'm expecting it to just be empty. Oh, can't read meta of null. So is this because we aren't checking if the item exists here? So does the item exist? Right, so it shows nothing because, again, I didn't update the script. So that's just to show you that if you make changes, you do need to update the script, well, when it's parameters. So now this is registered. Oh, must be identified. And yeah, it seems like it still all works just the same. That's why it's good to write code that still fits in with the whatever the default is. And we can see we can still use these. We can still click on it and use it if someone was injured or whatever. Just as you can still. Oh, cannot read. Let's see where the error is. Draw item name 72. Okay, cool. So we need to be doing this. So we can just get that out of there. Oh, it's still open. There we go. So yeah, we can still equip these items. We just don't know what they are. So yeah, you might be asking again, what is the point of this? Well, let's see. If we equip the one with lots of damage and say seal is the one that stops you from, no, lock is the one that stops you from being able to change it. Okay, so we'll say lock that in. I don't know if this will show up when you try and equip something, or if this only happens after you equip it. We'll see though, we'll see. That's fine. Let's test this out. Oh, I didn't get the items. There we go. So we, oh, well, see, it does show the loss here. Yeah, I'll need to hide this maybe, or at least give the option to hide the stat changes. But yeah, the cool thing is you can go, oh, this looks good, increases a lot of attack. You equip it. Oh, suddenly you can't unequip it because it's a cursed item. And yeah, maybe there'll, if you have a passive state, yeah, if you have a passive state plugin, so when you equip this weapon, it gives you the automatic state. You can then say maybe you lose health every turn, MP regeneration but minus, and in here, maybe you can say a cursed blade, beware. But until you identify it, you won't know. So I think that's part one, which is to hide items. So a second part would be actually identifying the items. So let's see. So what I'm thinking now is when we load an item, we need to have some kind of variable that says, has this item been identified? Extract array metadata. Let's see, what is data here? What is data? Also, how do we store items? Game item. This is more like what we want. Let's just do a bit more snooping though. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's short. It looks like it's what we want. We will not edit this. What's this? Delete that. All right, so game item initialize close game item dot prototype dot initialize. We probably want to call this first, so we will just do that immediately. Call, pass in this, and then the parameter it's looking for. We can maybe say if it's an item, if it's a weapon, or if it's an armor.